Hello students, today we'll study the first chapter from your class 11 syllabus from your book Hornbill. The name of the chapter is Portrait of a Lady and it is written by Khushwant Singh. I know this video is a little late, but it is one of the favorites with lot of children and they specially requested me to prepare a video on this chapter, so I am doing so. So firstly I'll tell you about the author. Now this chapter is written by Khushwant Singh. Now who was Khushwant Singh? He was an Indian author, a lawyer, a diplomat, a journalist and a politician. His experience in the 1947 partition of India inspired him to write Train to Pakistan in 1956, which became a well-known novel. So he was basically born on 2nd February 1915 in Pakistan. He died in 2014 at the age of 99 in Delhi. He gained his education at GCU, Punjab University, the Dixon Poole School of Law, St. Stephen's College, King's College, London. He has won many awards as well. First one was Padma Bhushan and the other was Padma Vibhushan. He's a very famous novelist throughout the world. Now coming to know about the lesson. The Portrait of a Lady is autobiographical in nature, where Khushwant Singh has told about his personal experiences bonding with his grandmother, as it describes the author's association with his grandmother and changes that come about in their relationship. It is a loving tribute from a grandson to his grandmother, where he reminisces about the emotional bond that he had shared with her. On reading it, we as readers are forced to evaluate our own relationships with our grandparents and reflect on the growing isolation of adults in families. Now coming to the author's reminiscence of his grandmother. His grandmother was very old, she was wrinkled, she was short, she was slightly bent. She walked with one hand on the waist, other hand telling the rosary beads. We've seen ladies hobbling. Hobbling means holding a stick in one hand and trying to move and moving like this. So this is how she used to move. She was slightly bent because of age. Her backbone was not very stiff. And she used to tell the beads of a rosary. You know what's a rosary? Basically, Tulsi Mala. You must have seen grandmothers telling the beads. So that is what she used to do. Her lips always moved in audible prayer. She continuously prayed, reciting some or the other mantras all the time. She wore spotless white clothes. She had silver hair. It was difficult for author to ever believe that she was ever young because she was so old. She exuded peace, serenity, and contentment. She was an expanse of purity and peace, as in snow-covered winter landscape with mountains. When you see a winter landscape, what happens in winter? The entire land is covered with snow. So similarly, she used to wear the clad in white with white hair and basically an embodiment of peace and tranquility. So she was just like a winter landscape with a lot of mountains. Mountains are something you can rely upon. It's considered to be very sturdy and strong. Similarly, she was a very strong woman as well. Now coming to the author's grandfather. His portrait was hung above the mantelpiece. Now he looked 100 years old with a white flowing beard and he wore a big turban and used to wear loose fitting clothes. Now the narrator reminisces the early bonding with his grandmother in the village. His parents moved to the city, so they left him behind when he was a young boy in the village with his grandmother. Now slowly and steadily their friendship grew, their bonding grew. Both became very good friends. Now, what was their daily routine? So, grandmother used to wake up the author early in the morning. She used to bathe him, she used to dress him, got him ready for the school. Then she used to plaster his slate. And at the same time, used to sing morning prayers all the while so that the author could learn them. I've seen a lot of people as parents. I also used to do that so that my children remember those nursery rhymes. I used to play those rhymes. I used to sing it myself all the time so that they can learn it well. So she also used to recite those morning prayers so that the author could learn them. So she was very religious person by heart. She fed him breakfast every day of stale chapatis. Stale chapatis means basi roti. रात की पड़ी हुई रोटी होती है ना, because she never had time. He has to make him ready as well for the early morning school. So that's why she used to give him stale chapatis. It's considered to be very healthy as well. And pour some butter over it and some sugar is to feed him that. That was his daily breakfast. And she used to accompany the author to the village school, which was attached to the temple, where the priest taught the children. So there was no proper teacher as such who was employed for the job. The priest only used to teach the children. And while that time, the grandmother used to spend the entire time in the temple reciting her prayers. She used to read the holy scriptures in the temple while the author studied the alphabets and recited the morning prayer in school. Both walked back home together, feeding stale chapatis to the village dogs. So while coming back, she used to take a few stale chapatis along with her, and she used to feed the dogs, and the dogs used to follow them along. So then came the turning point in their friendship. So the author and the grandmother shifted to the city from the village to be with the author's parents. Both shared a room together, but grandmother got isolated. Now there were various reasons why the grandmother got isolated. Because the author was admitted to an English medium school, and he traveled to school in a motor bus. So the grandmother could not drop him to schools because he's going in a motor bus. Moreover, he's studying in an English medium school, and the grandmother was not fluent with English, so she could not help him in studies as well. The grandmother was unhappy because author was taught English, science and music. She did not approve of music because she believed that music is taught to harlots. Harlots means prostitutes and all, to lure customers. And at the same time, she believed music is learned by beggars because they sing in order to get alms. So grandmother was distressed at the lack of religion-based education in school as well. There was hardly any communication between the author and the grandmother. Now there were no street dogs to be fed in the city as well. So she felt very lonely in the city, but she did not complain at all or grumble. Now the common link of friendship was slowly snapped. The author was given a separate room on joining the university. Grandmother quietly accepts her seclusion. She devotes herself to spinning the wheel, reciting the prayers from morning till evening. Now, what was the happiest half hour of the day? The happiest half hour for the grandmother was when she fed breadcrumbs to scores of sparrows in the afternoon sitting in the veranda. So she was used to charity. She was used to feeding animals, and she used to feed the dogs when she was in the village. And now she wanted to continue that same tradition, and so in the city she used to feed the sparrows, and thousands of sparrows used to come over in the veranda. Some of them used to sit on her shoulders as well, on the head as well, and they used to eat from her hands. So it is believed that that was the best half hour of her day. Then the author had to go abroad for studies. So grandmother sees of the author at the railway station and kisses his forehead. The author cherishes it as the last physical contact between the grandmother and the author. She did not complain because he was going away for 5 years. She did not complain at all. She did not know whether she will be surviving by that time for 5 years once he returns. She thought that probably she is seeing him for the last time, but she did not complain and kept mum throughout the time when she was sitting in the car to bid him goodbye at the same time. Now, when the author returns after 5 years, grandmother goes to receive him at the station and hugs him. She gathers all the neighborhood women in the evening and sings songs beating the old time. She was so happy. She wanted to rejoice that she had survived those 5 years. Probably she was waiting for him to return. She was so attached, emotionally attached to the author. So she beat the drums, and that was the first time she skipped her prayers. Now, obviously, she had strained herself too much because of that physical strain. She was too old. Her body could not take that strain. So she was taken ill the next day. Now she said that now I'm going to die. This is my last day. She was aware of her approaching death. She regretted her folly of not saying her prayer the previous day. The author's mother said, no, it is a normal fever. She called the doctor as well. She said, it's just a normal fever. She'll be okay in the time. But she said, no, this is my last. I wanted to be alone and I want to say my prayers. She was just insisted on praying. She finally did not speak to anybody. She said, I want to pray and offer my prayers to God. And she dies with a prayer on the lips and the rosary in her hands. Now, with the setting sun, the grandmother's city friends, the birds, arrived to pay their last respect. Once her body was taken out and covered with a shroud, shroud means the coffin. So all the sparrows understood and they came in to pay their homage to the grandmother and their friend. Now they sit silently without chirping. They did not say a word at all. And author's mother thought that they have come to eat. Grandmother used to feed them every day, so they've probably come to eat. But they refuse the breadcrumbs offered by the author's mother, and they fly away quietly when the grandmother's body is carried away. Now, that is the end of the story, coming to the character sketch of the grandmother. In this story, the narrator describes his grandmother as an old, wrinkly woman who wouldn't have grown older because he believed that she is an embodiment of old age. People said that she had once been young and beautiful, but according to the author, her grandmother had been old ever since he had seen her. The author could not imagine her as a child or as a young and a beautiful lady. For him, she was his grandmother, a woman who had been always old and never young. She was short, fat, and slightly bent. Her face was full of wrinkles. She always wore a white colored sari with silver locks. Locks means hair covering her face, due to which the narrator describes her as being a winter landscape in the mountains. She has a calm, gentle, and a reassuring face. The narrator maintains that she was beautiful because she was kind, warm. She was beautiful at heart. She was very loving, attentive, and caring. The author's grandmother was very strong woman in character and was very religious too. In his childhood years, the narrator lived with his grandmother. He describes her as a good friend. She would wake him up on school days and prepare him a simple breakfast. She had a sympathetic attitude towards animals. She carried several stale chapatis with her for the village dogs. When they stayed in the village, she used to feed the dogs, but as and when she came to the city, she started feeding the sparrows. She was a religious woman as she spent her time in the temple and reading the scriptures. She was a woman who loved her traditions and culture. With her one hand, she was always telling the beads of her rosary. She spent most of her time reading the holy books, whether at home or in the temple. She spent her time in spinning the wheel and reciting her prayers also. She never skipped her prayers. So she did not like the Western learning by his grandson, but she never complained. She was also against learning of music. She was left alone when narrator went abroad, but she passed her time with spinning, feeding sparrows, and reciting the prayers. She felt happy when the narrator came back after a long time. She fell ill by straining herself while beating the drum in happiness. She was so devoted to religion that in her last time also she continued to pray. In short, the grandmother in the portrait of Lady by Khushwant Singh demonstrates a tremendous amount of love and selflessness. She devotes herself to looking after the narrator while he is young, and even when he grows up and becomes distant as he pursues his own interests, she remains devoted to loving him and allowing him to live his life. That is the end of the story. I hope you like this. It's a beautiful story. If you like this video, please like, share, or subscribe or comment. Thank you. Happy learning. Bye.